Guys, how cute is this? They're just all sleeping in the middle of the day. Look at that doggy. The Hello Kitty outfit and bows. They really take care of their dogs here. As much as Medellin likes their sex stores, Villa de Leyva likes their dog stores. And here's a vet. We got another pet store. Streets of Villa de Leyva. Poop clouds. So I was like, oh, I better get all my doctor's appointments done before coming to South America. And so like I did all my dental checkups and cleanings and whatever. And we just went to the dentist here. And she's like, oh yeah, it'll cost like $6, like $6.79 for x-ray. And you know, for the entire consultation and checkup, it'll cost another maybe $6.79. And for the cleaning, it costs 100, how much did she say?
140 pesos.
140, which is like, 140 pesos is how much in dollars? And this is all out of pocket, like this is no health insurance. So like 140,000 is basically like $30, maybe? Yeah, I should have definitely done all these appointments here because like no one's gonna die from doing their dental checkups in South America. And I feel like these people seem so nice also. Now we're gonna go and get an x-ray. Alrighty, here we are at the Medical Super Center. And this is where we're gonna get our x-rays done at the Subsidio Supermercado. Guys, check this out. So there's eggs in a bike store. Eggs in a bike store. Good luck. Hello, Moto. So, Andrew, how would you say was your first experience getting an x-ray, $6 x-ray in Colombia?
Very clean and professional. The dental assistant was very skilled and got very quality service.
Did you feel endangered at all? Like a bunch of people were drugging you and mugging you while you were getting your $6 x-ray?
Absolutely not.
And then like immediately on the spot, we got to set an appointment for the morning to like do the dental checkup and everything.
Yep.
Little doggies. Well, some people might. What is this?
Just a door with a poly finish. I think some of the wood doors they have here are just plain wood with like a linseed oil finish. This one's poly. This is like Home Depot poly stuff.
Okay.
Polyurethane.
Cool. Yes, that was very nerdy. Carry on.
See, like here.
This door over here.
Yeah, so I really like the finish on all these doors. Like, see, this feels like it just might be linseed oil. This isn't like a Home Depot finish or anything like that. This isn't polyurethane. It's like a natural finish. On all these doors on these streets, you have doors like this. It's really cute.
How much would it cost in the U.S.? That's all I want to know.
It'd be work. It'd be craftsmanship. So it wouldn't be expressed in like a dollar amount as much as it would be somebody's time, you know?
Interesting, yeah. Andrew's about to get his first Colombian tooth checkup. Would you like to say a few words about how your dental procedure felt?
Felt great. They were very professional, very attentive. There was a language barrier, but when I couldn't understand something, they translated for me using their phone app. I felt very informed and yeah, pretty confident in the work they were doing, and the end result is pretty good.
Are you feeling nervous about your next dental procedure?
No, absolutely not.
Really?
Nope.
Even though they're gonna go like, you know, drill some stuff in your gums?
Nope. Their first cleaning and everything like that was so well done that I have complete faith that they're gonna do a good job on the rest of it.
Hola amigos, no speaking English. Only solo español from now on. Anyway, so I'm in the same place as before, just sitting in a different location, a different spot, so that all the videos don't look exactly the same. But there's so many little spots in this place to film. It's like really cute. And I'm actually not even getting the good ones, but I'm just getting the quiet ones. So I wanted to talk about being Sephardic and OTD, being ex-Orthodox and Sephardic. So Sephardic Jews are an interesting intersection of the Orthodox community, because Orthodox Judaism was not created officially within the Sephardic Jewish community. The Sephardic community has always been by default Orthodox because, they've just traditionally they've kept up their tradition for many years, and they've lived in the same place. At least most Middle Eastern Jews have lived in the same cities, towns, countries for thousands of years, and they haven't moved around a lot. So they've been able to keep their tradition from many years ago, and thus tend to be by default pretty religious. Religious meaning basically religious, keeping Shabbat, keeping kosher, the basic spirit of the law type of stuff that Jews keep. Sephardic Jews have kept it the same for many, many years. But more recently, because there's the whole diaspora, because of the rise of Islam, and a lot of Sephardic Jews have had to escape from their Middle Eastern countries over the past century or so. And they've moved to places where there's Western Jews, Ashkenazi Jews, in the US or in Europe or other places. They've had to become part of the European Orthodox Jewish thing, which is a little more defined. There are more sects that exist within European Orthodox Judaism. It's more defined, it's more structured, there's more rules, almost more discipline, and it's a little bit more letter of the law. Obviously, this is all just my interpretation of how everything works. But when you see ultra-Orthodox Jews that are Sephardic, usually it's because they've they've kept their traditions from their Eastern countries or whatever. It's not like they've converted into ultra-Orthodox Judaism or European way of Judaism, but they've kind of blended in to this more European style system, which tends to be a little more letter of the law, a little more disciplined, and it's more defined. You could tell what people are, what sect people are based on how they dress, what their customs are and stuff like that. So I don't know if I'm making sense, but a lot of times I will mention to someone that I went to Beis Yaakov, or I grew up in an Orthodox Jewish community, or a Haredi Jewish community, which means ultra-Orthodox. People don't like to say ultra-Orthodox because it's ultra just makes you sound extreme, you know what I mean? But it's just mainstream Haredi. So a lot of times when I'll say that I grew up in a community like that, people will assume, oh, you were probably converted in, or you probably didn't grow up like that and you just think it was very religious, you know what I mean? They'll assume, or because of my name, they'll assume Pardes. Pardes also means, it's Hindu also, so it means different things in different languages, and people won't realize that Pardes is a Hebrew word, and you can find Pardes in Shir Shirim, you can find it in the Talmud, you can find it in a lot of places in Judaism, but a lot of people don't know that, even Jews, a lot of Jews don't know that, so they assume that I'm a different nationality, not Jewish, and that my last name isn't Jewish because it sounds Arabic, and they just assume that like I've converted or something, and I'm just talking about it from an outsider's perspective. And a lot of times people will use that to discredit what I'm saying and be like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. You came from this other place and you're just shit talking Judaism, or you're shit talking my sect, or like, you know, first of all, I'm not here to shit talk anybody. I'm just here to talk about my experiences. But also, yes, Sephardic ultra-Orthodox Jews is a thing, and it doesn't necessarily mean that they've like converted into Orthodox Judaism or whatever. It just means that they've left their countries and they've kind of blended into like a more European style of Judaism. So there are plenty of off the derech Jews that are also Sephardic, that are Middle Eastern, and they've maybe their families were part of an ultra-Orthodox or Orthodox European system, and maybe they felt that it wasn't for them, or maybe didn't completely go off the derech and they just maybe chilled out a little bit. And there's plenty of people like that too. So just keep in mind that there are all kinds of people out there, and just because it's not very common, don't forget that it still does exist, and there's a lot of those. And yeah, like the school that I went to growing up, like, you know, I went to Beis Yaakov, I went to Tours MS. It's like when I was little, there weren't a lot of Sephardic Jews. Like there were enough that you could have within your grade. You can have like a couple friends that are like look like you, that are like darker maybe a little bit, or maybe like their parents speak the same language as your parents. But it wasn't like it is now. Now, if you look at any Orthodox Jewish day school, you're always gonna find like Sephardic kids. You're always gonna find it. Orthodox, even ultra-Orthodox, even the Hasidic school in our city in LA, which LA doesn't have a lot of Hasidic Jews compared to other places like New York or wherever, but they existed, and there's a school in LA. There's a Hasidic school system. I'm not talking about Chabad. Chabad is a whole different game, but there was a Hasidic school, and there were Sephardic Jews that went to that school as well. There are Sephardic Jews all over the Orthodox Jewish system, and it's actually getting even bigger now. Now, like my sister's age group, they have she has so many Sephardic kids in her class. She has so many Persian kids. It's just like a whole thing. I'm kind of jealous, actually. I'm like, wow, so you guys are the cool kids now? Like, I wish I was like that, you know? But I don't wish that. But it's interesting. It's like a totally different thing. And I think a lot of that has to do with just in general Sephardic Jews leaving the Middle East after all these years, and now they've found a new home within Western Judaism. So it's interesting to see how Judaism will change over time. You know, Sephardic Jews have traditionally always preserved esoteric Judaism more intensely, like Kabbalah, you know, the Sod in Pardes. Sephardic Jews have, and also Hasidic Jews have always preserved that, but Sephardic Jews as well. So what I wonder is, will esoteric Judaism maybe damp down a little bit now that Sephardic Jews are becoming part of more of a westernized form of Orthodox Judaism? So those are some questions that I have. Or maybe they will kind of cause a merging so that Ashkenazi Jews start to accept Kabbalah more in their lifestyle. Ashkenazi side of my education, they were always kind of more afraid of Kabbalah or any kind of like open acknowledgement of Jewish mysticism beyond like the ritual stuff, the ritualistic parts of Judaism. They were always kind of afraid of it. But I think now what I'm noticing is with Sephardic Jews kind of being more integrated with the Western Jewish system, there's also, I'm noticing just within the people that I'm talking to, within Ashkenazi Judaism, there's starting to be a little more of an acceptance of Jewish mysticism. So we'll see how that goes, but I just wanted to bring that awareness out there because a lot of people in the outer world don't know. They don't know about Sephardic Jews, and they think brown Jews or even black Jews, you know, there are black Jews, there are Ethiopian Jews, and if you go to Israel, there's plenty of black Jews. and they look like Ethiopians, you know, they're Ethiopians, but they just practice Judaism, and you know, and I know there's even more than that, but those are just the ones I've met. They're out there just because we didn't know about them, because there wasn't internet before and all these different groups lived in their own towns. It doesn't mean that they haven't been existing and thriving for thousands of years, and it doesn't necessarily mean that they learned Judaism from Western Jews. We just knew about the Western Jews because we lived in the West, and by we I mean people that grew up their whole lives in the West. Anyway, yeah, so if you saw my videos on the dentist stuff, medical tourism is a thing. I'm in Colombia right now, in a small town called Villa de Leyva. And we went yesterday, and the day before we went to the dentist. We got, you know, x-rays. Andrew got his teeth done and he feels so good. Maybe I'll ask him to say how he feels about it. But it was pretty good, and I was kicking myself because I spent $1,700 on a partial root canal in Dallas. Out of pocket, $1,700 out of pocket on a partial root canal in Dallas. And by the way, I have health and dental insurance, so anyone telling me, oh, you should have just had health insurance, stop being so naive. Yes, I had health and dental insurance, and it was still $1,700 out of pocket. I could have just waited a little bit longer and done it here in Colombia, where these people seem to know what they're doing. They're doing a professional job, and the reviews are great, and online reviews. And I could have just got it for like maybe $200 or $300. So anyway, maybe we'll get a little more of Andrew's procedure. He's doing some more this week, so maybe I'll get to at least film his reaction on it, on how it felt and how his teeth feel after that. But anyways, thanks for watching, and see you guys in the next video.